How to run a multi-million dollar company in 2023. Well, first you need to build one. Stay in this video if you want to learn how I ended up having a multi-million dollar company, starting as a full-time software engineer, and also what multi-million or million-dollar company means, and how I configured it in the way it acts as a fully independent business, so I can retire anytime. Hi, my name is Volodymyr Katansky and I welcome you to my channel. This is the first video on the YouTube, so I hope you enjoy this little nice setup on the background and the ambient music playing. This video is going to be a walkthrough process of how I ended up having a business and grew it to the multi-million dollar company in 2023. So I found the company Startup Craft, which is custom software development company specializing in the blockchain, back in 2015. And over the past 8 years, we've reached the scale of top blockchain company by Clutch, been recognized by multiple clients by inventing some interesting solutions in the solution architecture, software design, and picking the projects from the small startups to medium scale enterprises. Before we get to the main story, I'd like to explain this $1 million stuff. So usually when anyone says that they run $1 million company, they pick the biggest number they have in this business, and usually it's a revenue. That means it's a gross income, not considering the salaries, some other expenses and taxes. So in the end, from the $1 million revenue, the profits might be around 150,000 US dollars, like 15%. Now, getting back to the main story, how I started this business. Well, my story might not be too different from others. I got bored from my full-time job. While it has a decent pay, I had some issues. First of all, the money wasn't the main motivator to me. I like to do things in a very rational way, and when I faced some inefficiency and ended up being involved in some very routine and boring stuff, I getting sick of it and I can't be productive. So in this case, with this job, it was exactly the inability to practice some modern technologies. The company management was very conservative, and I just started my career as front-end engineer. I was coding in JavaScript, which is still very popular language, probably the most popular language in the world, programming language. And I wanted to try some technologies like Ember.js back in those time and some other tech on the market. And the company did not share my aspirations. They just wanted things working, and that's it. This was one of the main motivation to me to either find another company or build my own. So before thinking of building my own, which is much harder task to me to do, I know back in those days this would be very hard, and it was not like my main intention. It was like always a plan B or plan C. Another very important aspect was this job was remote. And back in 2012 and 2013, the remote job was very rare thing. And I was thinking like, that might be a great opportunity to travel, to see the world. And it might be not that possible if I switch the company. All the options I have considered on the market was on site. And anytime I talked about like, hey, can I just go like 1 month to Thailand to work remotely, I was always received a firm no. So beyond that, I would like to get a little bit back in my in the process of growing mindset. So I love playing computer games, especially strategies, because it involves a lot of numbers, a lot of moving things, and making a lot of decisions. It feels like a very strong simulation of having a business or being involved in some serious venture. You deal with the resources, you deal with the time pressure, often in real time. Like one of my favorite games is StarCraft 2, especially. It has a lot of aspects of decision making, micro and macro controlling, and it just pushes my brain to its limit. I love it. And another game is less intense but still very cool is Heroes of Might and Magic 3. this game you have a much bigger depth of economic and strategy, and it also shapes you to take into account a lot of data before making a decision. So this step back would explain my data-driven process. I really love to have data before making any decision, and I often can look very confident in making any decisions. I'm sharing with my friends about something I would like to have and collecting the information, and they let it digest over and over again before I'm getting really confident in something. And this is the same with the business. So I put into account all of these variables, and after these interviews and knowing the inability to travel, I decided to take some risk. So I get myself as best as I can and doing my job as fast as possible, and leave some time and room to try something out. Back in those days, I met another developer who brought attention to the blog. I created the blog as a pet project using this new technology so I can practice something, put it on the web, and the blog was about building the blog, so it's pretty funny. Now, this guy, he checked it out, we got connected, and I figured he's actually living in my dream. He is traveling, he is working as a remote software engineer, and we decided to meet in the country that we had overlapped over our travel plan. It was Nepal, Kathmandu, and it was like probably one of the most exciting events of my life. We spent a week together coding, traveling, and also sharing the experiences, and it feels like I was like a spider who was put out of his, I don't know, hole and see the new world on the different perspectives. So traveling is really resetting my mindset, and this is another very important event happened in my life and led me to create my own business. So talking with this engineer, whose name by the name is Kirill, I ended up thinking that there is not too much trouble trying. I mean, it's not like the situation when you think like, life is short, I'm gonna try something for real before it's too late, but it's very close. So I thought, how can I handle these, my main time job, and slowly but steadily try something else on the side. So we got together onto the project, working on the Upwork platform, Upwork or Odesk. It's a platform for freelancers, so if you want to take some small gigs and have a sort of like demo of being a self-employed person, this is a great way to start. And I was afraid like how I not ruin my reputation, because all of my experience before that was like a full-time employment in this main company. But it appeared to be really rewarding. The reward was instant. So we tried a new technology in this new product and we succeed. This is how it's all started. I have quickly built up a reputation, made more connection with other engineers, and I started to figure that my craft is in very high demand, and I started building up the team. At this point, I have registered the company legally, and as you might guess, we've been pretty much covered by the Upwork in many ways. So what means running a software agency business? It's probably like any other agency. You have three main pillars to me. First is finding the clients, second finding the workforce or engineers and the rest of the team. Third is to run all of the operations, processes and system, having a system in place. So first and second items, finding the clients and engineers, we were pretty much covered by the Upwork. We had a great reputation. We have a good inflow of clients. The only challenge was I had a personal great profile, and it was very challenging to persuade the clients that the agency gonna perform not worse as I would do it personally. And for that, we built a nice looking landing page featuring what we can do, having the portfolio, and to me, it's also one of the essential components to secure the client. If they see the cheap website or link page, it actually works as an anti-marketing solution, and you shouldn't neglect these small details. Now, second of the finding engineers, we had a great work culture. We were working remotely. Everyone has a flexible schedule. As soon as you have a nice overlap with the client, it's pretty logical. Then you can work anywhere in the world. Of course, you need to have some decent internet connection, or I would say decent is at least 5 megabits per second. And also we had above the market salaries because we mostly hired contractors back in those days, and instead of paying a lot of taxes to the government. We help our contractors, our team, to manage the complex bureaucracy and infrastructure of running self-independent business, but it really plays off in the end. So the last item remains the core or operations of your business. And apparently it became a cornerstone of running the whole business. So what we needed is to register all of the information as we work with our clients in different tools, so we can continue applying this mindset of data-driven decisions. This is kind of core of our system. So we tried a lot of different solutions, such as Asana for task management, chat was covered by Slack, and time tracking by Hapstuff, as far as I remember, and we used a lot of other tools in between. The problem was we've been piling up a lot of different solutions because, for instance, Asana had a lot of cool features we don't really need, so we use like, I don't know, 15% of it, and we needed something else that they did not provide. And the costs build up really quickly, and it was really hard to manage all of that stuff and train the new people to work with this. So to recap, what essential tooling we were needing? We needed pretty much everything that would help us see how healthy the projects are, where we are standing financially, what needs attention, who is working on what on given time. There were a big amount of information we needed. So the essential first tool is communication. So we needed a chat because everyone working in a different time zone, there's different schedules, and the clients was also in a different time zone more often than not. And second was the tasks management, so we understand how we progress with the project, so we can easily report it to the client, or he can just gather the information himself. And the third very important component is financial or qualitative as well. So we needed to track the time we spend, so we understand what salaries we have to pay for the contractor's job, how much we should bill the client, and it would be also nice to fill the gaps in between, which takes a lot of time or just takes a lot of attention, such as generating invoices, tracking the status of these invoices to the clients, and also processing the invoices from the contracts to us. And the final piece of component, it should be very easy to use, very self-intuitive, and easily available to every party that's involved into this business. So we ended up building one. Whatever you have seen right now on the screen is exactly the answer to all of these challenges we faced. The product called WorkLayer, and we proudly announced its launch in 2023. Now, let's summarize how to run a multi-million company in 2023 on the example of my software development remote working agency. Master your trade. My path was starting with building the right skill set of the main service the business has provided, the software development itself. So this is essential, very first component of my path. Second, traveling. I cannot express more how it was important for my path of becoming an entrepreneur. It's so eye-opening. You see new places, you see new people, different cultures. I think it changes the way you perceive the life. And in my example, also, I found the people which helped me define my future. So definitely, even if it's not gonna work the same way, you should try traveling. Third, build the reputation. Building the reputation to me is the hardest part in the beginning, because when you start from scratch, you have nothing in terms of credibility, and often you have to sacrifice something, either extra time, underpayment, and something else on top of that. But it's worth it. As soon as you accumulated enough reputation, it works as a snowballing effect. 4. Create a strong and loyal team. Surrounding yourself with reliable partners is essential for long-term business strategy. Warren Buffett at Berkshire Hathaway has under 30 employees in his central office who works for many years with him. Being friendly, being a leader, not a boss, and also not repelling people in the bad and hard times is essential to build strong business and team relationships. And the last important component is organizing the system, which was cost efficient, scalable, easy to use, and enabling the data-driven decision-making process for your team so they can focus on what would help you make higher profits and avoid redundant and routine tasks. Thanks for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed, leave a comment, and also subscribe if you want to hear more about my journey running software development company in 2023. Also, in the upcoming episodes, I will walk you through the hands-on approach creating an agency in the WorkLayer tool.